Okay, so for the next couple of minutes anyway, I'm going to spend a little time talking about advances in hosted solutions and how that can benefit most of the people here, whether it be second tier, third tier rural operators. There are a number of advances in any kind of hosted solution that can truly benefit an operation. So it's always fun to take a quick look back, and I actually like some of these graphics. I think some of us, at least myself, remembers the bricks of yesteryear, where Motorola had these bricks, and that was the way we communicated. And you fast forward to today, where it's all about smartphones and tablets, right? And that's really where we are today. Tomorrow, it's almost even happening now, is what they're calling this 50 billion connections. We hear this from some of the vendors. What that's really about is machine to machine. And there's an entire ecosystem now that is being developed for machine to machine. And the number of machine to machine connections is rapidly on the rise. So how do you get from where the prediction is 7 billion mobile connections today to 50 billion? It's through machine to machine. So I think, in a few years from now, this graph is going to look differently. We'll have some pictures of what those machine to machine devices look like. Okay, so what are some of the important drivers in hosted solutions? In particular, what does it mean to an operator? And there's two areas. One is obviously cost, but it's not just about cost. In terms of reducing investment, the hosted solution obviously allows you to either defer the capital investment or not make that capital investment at all. Operational efficiency is about having the staff of the hosted company, i.e. here, take care of all of those kind of operations. So in the end, you don't need to actually have those folks as part of your payroll. And reduce complexity. Focus on the actual marketing, selling of minutes, and being a wireless operator, not worrying about running what sits behind it in terms of the network. But perhaps even more importantly is what we're calling enabling the business. So as some of these new services come into play, whether it's video to the phone, over-the-top solutions, these kind of solutions can be brought to the market much quicker by having a hosted solution. So if you need, let's say, 4G to deliver a particular solution, a hosted company can say, yes, we have 4G ready to go. So the time to market then all of a sudden becomes essentially immediate, or whatever it takes you as an operator to market that service. Because essentially, all of the different kinds of services and all of the different kinds of migration from 2G, 3G to 4G are taken care of in terms of the platforms that we have here. In terms of quality of the user experience, what hosted companies like ourselves do is we invest significantly in the way we do our processes and procedures, the way we do monitoring and reporting, so that we can make sure that when we look at a particular base station or some kind of BSC, we can see specifically what the performance is on a per BTS level, whether it's drop calls or the like. So we think that there is an improvement there, even in terms of the quality of service to a customer. I like this graphic, the classic iceberg, a little bit at the top, a lot on the bottom, right? So I like to look at this as that top portion of that iceberg is what you as operators focus on, which is your particular part of the business. Marketing your company, marketing the minutes, selling the minutes, and the particular services. But obviously to make that happen is a host of things that sit underneath. And that's what a hosted solution can do. And to make sure that that hosted solution keeps pace with whether it's the technology migration or the kind of reporting that you want. So we've listed a whole bunch of things here. I'm kind of summarizing it here. One of the important things is the people, right? So you've kind of gone through the tour. Maybe you've seen the pieces of the tour where you saw the switch platforms and the like. We have value-added services, and there is a team of people, some of whom you've met, I hope, that are behind those platforms. And that's all they do. They focus on the platforms. They focus on making sure the switch capacity is there when you need it. making sure that we as a company invest going forward in whatever the technology migration is. So marrying these two things makes potentially for a great model. And thanks to many of you here, some of you whom are customers and some who may be, we have been able to essentially invest and continue to grow that business. And I think we're able to do that largely because it works for you guys. Just a little bit of PR, you'll excuse me for that. I'm forced to do just a little bit of the Globecomm piece as opposed to the general hosted. Here is where we have invested in 2011, and I'll talk a little bit more where we're going in 2012. But we have done quite a bit from when we started the hosted business a few years ago. Starting with capacity in the core platforms. So we make sure that whatever capacity we have today is designed so that tomorrow, when the operators come to us, existing operators or new operators, we have the necessary capacity. That's a function of hardware and licensing and software. We now have two Tier 1 solutions, a GSM 3G and 4G solution, as well as a CDMA EVDO and 4G solution. So there's almost two paths offering a Tier 1 solution for our hosted customers. In terms of our overall ecosystem, we recently, through acquisition, purchased CommSource, which specializes in testing and verification of different kinds of wireless platforms. And through them, we are now able to test handsets and different kinds of switches. So, as different switches and handsets come into the marketplace, we are able to help in terms of validating and testing those. We are now a GSM license holder. We were not a GSM license holder last year. Now, not to be concerned in terms of the operators, we're non-spectrum holding. We're just a GSM operator. And why did we do that? It's because of our maritime business. Because we have customers now that want to operate GSM in the maritime space, whether it be machine-to-machine, which we're looking at right now. These are machine-to-machine devices on container vessels that communicate via GSM back to the satellite, back to our hosted switch here, and then back to an end customer. Or simply crew welfare services, which is basically GSM voice and texting. So to do that, we needed a license, and that's why we've got that, which also makes us new members of the GSMA and CDG. That's quite significant. We're also, we have a relationship with Level 3. We are a point of presence here for Level 3. So in terms of fiber backhaul connections, if you have a particular relationship in a particular market with Level 3, they're quite aggressive in terms of their pricing, we have points of presence here. In addition to that, we have our own fiber network. We have a ring here in New York that connects Hauppauge into 60 Hudson and 111th 8th in terms of a ring here. So it could be that it's easier for you to come directly into a point of presence there. We have rings also in the Maryland and Virginia area. So we continue to expand, our points of presence as it relates to backhaul. Okay, and of course, very important, we maintain our memberships in the RCA, RTG, and APASCO. And all of this in terms of the ecosystem is valuable to us in terms of our partnerships and relationships. And we think that's critical to making sure that we understand what is going on overall in the industry. Okay. In terms of more and new value-added services, we have kind of amped up our performance reporting this past year so that we can actually drill down and offer reporting and monitoring down to the particular BTS in terms of drop calls, block calls. That's quite significant. So an operator can say, give me a performance report in a particular market in a particular base station. The CMAS, which is a federal, either FEMA or government-related texting service that is blasted out to customers, is something that is being added to our platform. To a certain extent, I think there is some requirements for operators to do that. I think in the rural space there is some forgiveness if that is not available, but at the end of the day, I see a few people laughing about that, but we as a hosted provider can and offer that as a solution. The last one, and it's a relatively new one, is this OTAF, or over-the-air functioning, which allows, instead of having a customer come in and change their SIM card if there's a change in their particular network, we can do this now over the air. It's a savings. It's a much more efficient way to do things. So these are some of the things we're doing. or some of the things we've done. I think the most significant, though, is 4G. So we have made a much more significant investment in upgrading the platforms to 4G. Again, this is a path for GSM, UMTS, as well as CDMA and EVDO. You know, we see this as a necessity, even to the point that we see some operators, some rural operators that are 2.5G today, and are actually going to say, you know, skip the 3G, go straight to 4G. We think that's going to happen more and more. I don't think it's exclusive, but there are customers that will go that standard path of, you know, 2G, 3G, and 4G, and some are going to go from 2.5G straight to 4G. Bottom line is it's here, it's important. We feel we need to be a part of that technology migration, and the platforms here are servicing that today. I think something important is, you know, not all 4G switch systems are necessarily created equal, and what do I mean by that? You know, we took a look at what's important beyond just the switching in terms of 4G. So this category called more control is really about the ability that we now offer for doing what they call DPI, this deep packet inspection, and policy control. So we offer a software package and this service with our 4G, so that as you're rolling out your services, if you want to limit particular areas, particular websites, or understand, you know, what is happening, what the users are actually, you know, surfing and going to, the deep packet inspection allows you to do that, and you can set policies that either allow them to do that or not. So you can control the usage of your bandwidth, and I think that's a critical functionality of 4G, particularly given the ability of 4G, you know, the download speeds and what a user now can use it for. So, you know, if you're a rural operator and you've got limited spectrum, which everyone has limited spectrum, having this, I think, is critical. Just to summarize, you know, what we feel at Globecomm or any hosted solution, it's really about making things simple for the operator. Smooth transitions, just an operation that's simple and allows an operator to focus on their core business of selling to its customers and customer service. This quote-unquote aware traffic management is more about, you know, as things progress in 4G, is being able to understand what usage is taking place in your network and then how to manage it. And lastly, and hopefully you saw some of this in the, you know, in the tour if you hadn't been here before, is this is truly a trusted and proven model that we have here. Both this facility, the equipment here, and how we have processes and procedures to ensure that we roll out properly and that we maintain the network properly. So, you know, at the end of the day, you as an operator need to feel comfortable, sleep well at night, and know that you've got a trusted system. We believe we are delivering that. Okay. Thank you. I'll open it up quickly to some questions.
Excellent. Thank you.